I've got an internet crush. She's not a celebrity, but she's taken. So can't help falling in love.
Okay, honestly, you guys, believe it or not, I tried to film this video earlier and it just did not work. My hair was down. I was recording. I recorded for like 30 minutes and then it just didn't work out. And I got so overstimulated, I put my hair in a bun. It's not even cute. I just put it up. And I was like, we're just gonna try this again because I just got way too overstimulated. Okay, so today is July 2nd, and that means it is the halfway point of 2025, which is absolutely crazy because it's so bizarre to me how fast time is flying. But I was talking about this with my boyfriend and he was just like, I think we're just getting old, which is so true, and I don't want to think about it at all, but there is like a luxury with getting old. Anyways, because it is July, you guys know that means I'm reviewing my books from last month, and I've actually only read 3 books in total, which is great because usually it takes me a month and a half to read 3 books, but this one I read it all in 1 month, which is amazing. So I'm going to review my books for you. Honestly, I'm keeping it simple and short because I've noticed that I ramble a lot, which is fine because I know some people love that, but I feel like once I get better at talking and reviewing, then I can ramble. But for now, it needs to be short, quick, and easy and get to the point. So it is the halfway mark and I am nowhere near my book goal. I'm freaking the F out. I have a goal of 25 books this year and I'm only at 18. That is 36%. I can do it. I should be at 25 books right now, but I'm not. I'm only at 18, which isn't terrible, but it could be better. And so I'm a little stressed out because I do read bulky books. So I really need to push through because I know like this half of the year is going to be just so crazy with also summer stuff, and like I'm trying to get a new job and then I'm traveling so much like in my birthday, like it's a lot that's going to happen, so I need to condense it all before it gets too crazy. Anyways, we will get back on track with my book goal. I'm just gonna like fly through them. I really want to commit to this goal and I just want to feel like accomplished, like I was able to do something for myself, and reading is one of those things. I've noticed that I always do this. I will read fantasy books and then I feel like I need like a cleanser, like a palate cleanser. I'll read like a standalone love story book, which is fine because I do love romance books, but it's like a pattern for me. I can't help it though because when I read my fantasy books, I literally like I'm just so immersed in the world. Like it just makes everything 10 times better and I'm so much happier. But then I'm like, okay, I can't do too much fantasy before I like mix all my worlds together. So that's why I choose to do romance like for every bit of it, and it's great, but I notice that I'm just not at a dire need to read my love story books, which sucks. This past month, I have just been reading everything on my Kindle. This never leaves my side. It literally goes with me everywhere, even if I'm going from here to the other room. Like I just bring it with me because I love it so much, and I still do have physical books that I need to get to, but for now, this Kindle is my lifesaver. It's so convenient, it's so travel friendly, it's everything and more. She's beauty, she's grace. I love her. Anyways, so the first book that I read was The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and I know she's getting a lot of heat right now if you're on Book Talk because she said she uses AI for her writing, which is crazy because you're an author. A lot of book community, they agree with this opinion. I feel like as a writer, you should be so crazy authentic. You're a writer, like you should say things in your own words rather than using AI to help you, you know? So that was really disappointing, and I've noticed that on TikTok everyone is kind of like boycotting her right now, which is fine, but this was honestly my first book that I've ever read by her. I read The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I'm just gonna throw my ratings out there first. I'm giving this book a 3 out of 5. I don't hate this, but I don't love it. I'm gonna say I really like the storyline of this book. Basically, it's about a woman named Georgia. She lives in London, but she has to fly home to meet her family because her dad just unexpectedly passed away. She has 3 older siblings, and then the closest sibling that she is to, his name's Oliver. He's gay, and he actually comes back to town too with his sponsor. Initially, Georgia thinks that they're in a relationship, but he's actually just his sponsor. Like, his name's Sam. There is no love from Sam's point of view. So he actually is Georgia's love interest, and they kind of build this secret relationship because Georgia feels that she can't build this relationship with him because her brother Oliver likes him. She doesn't want to, you know, cross boundaries. And then it also starts becoming this secrecy thing, which doesn't always end well. So going through all that, they're basically trying to figure out how to plan a funeral, talking about their dad's past and unpacking all that trauma while she is in this like somewhat secret relationship with Sam. The romance is honestly on the back burner of this. I feel like this is more like drama centric book, which is great. I think I liked it so much because I do come from a really big family, not just my immediate family because there's only 5 of us, but my extended family. I have so many cousins, so many aunts and uncles. So I think I love that so much about this book is that it shows so many different dynamics of family and relationships. And what's so important too is that Georgia in this book does not get along with her older sister, and it just made me reflect because I am an older sister, and I'm like, I don't think I act like that to my sister at all. Like, I would never degrade my sister in that way or like manipulate her and whatever, but to each their own. So I really love the storyline here. I think it was so good at crossing those boundaries because Georgia's brother, his name's Oliver, he's obviously gay, and you don't see a lot of storylines that like dive super deep into that. It was so important because, you know, he was pushing the boundaries in this Catholic community, and his mom's friends, they weren't really accepting of that. In this real world that we live in, there are still people who aren't as accepting to people who are gay, transgender, or whatnot. And so I think incorporating that in this book, it has helped so much. And I hope people who read this also understand that. My family, we are Christians. I always say like, I'm a very modern Christian. Like, I'm all for the people. And the way that in their community in the book, the way that their Catholic minds are working, I don't agree with. But because I am more of like modern socialite Christian, I really understand the way that the world works. And I also truly feel like to be a Christian, you have to like move with the times a bit, you know, and just to be more accepting. And at the end of the day, why should you care what anyone else does? Like, that is my genuine question. Like, why should you care about anyone else's life but your own? Like, are you living their life? No, so stop telling them how to live their life. From Georgia's point of view, obviously there was a lot of hesitation coming from her end, but I think what helped so well is that Sam, that's his name, his reassurance to her was always constant. And I think that's the number one thing that a girl wants. It's just constant stability and support, and it really shows throughout the book. Of course, that is on the back burner though. Like I said, it really focuses more on like the relationship about her siblings and her mother. I would say I really did not like the mom. I don't know, I get that she just lost love of her life, and it's really difficult to behave normal when you go through such a traumatic thing like that. But I also feel like as a mother, well, I'm not a mother so I wouldn't know, as a mom, you would think that she would love her kids through all of that, but I didn't get that from her. Like, she was very not, she like loved the older sister, but she didn't really treat her other kids the same, which I don't know, I'm not a mom, so I can't tell you if that's normal or not, but I just feel like with me and my siblings and my mom, like my mom loves us all equally, and she loves us all for different things, which we all know as well, you know, like my siblings and I, we are so different in so many ways. My mom, when she wants to have an emotional talk, she'll come and talk to me because I'm the oldest and I'm so in tune with my emotions. I do freak out every now and then, which is normal, but I have those intellectual conversations with my mom. My sister is more of like funny, so like my mom will go to her for like more humor stuff, and then my brother, he's just super chill, so my mom's more like cash with him, if that makes sense. So yeah, I also, oh my god, I hated the fact that Georgia, I think her occupation was like a behavioral analyst, so she really focuses on people's like facial expressions and she reads people that way. Oh my god, she did it every single chapter. I was getting so frustrated. Like, she was like, oh, her eyes are glazing to the side, she's lying. And it's like, what? I mean, obviously it was way more descriptive than that, but that just was not, it was not. It was so repetitive and boring. I was like, please get over this. Ugh, I hated that. I also hated that there was a lot of like slut shaming in this, which I know it's a book, so it's like for the plot, but like maybe that just like triggers some part of me, because I don't know, I hate bullies. Like, I hate bullies to my core. I will never, I don't know, it just bothers me so much. I also will say this book was such an easy read, so like I said, I would give this book a 3 out of 5. Honestly, I probably wouldn't read it again, but I still quite frankly enjoyed it, so yeah. Moving on to my second and third book for June, I read the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I loved it, you guys. Well, I loved the first book more than the second book. I would give the overall series a 5. I would give the first book a 5 out of 5, and I would give the second book a 4 out of 5. The first book I loved. Obviously, with any fantasy, there's a lot of world building, so I think you kind of just have to look past that. In the first book, there is a girl named Oraya, however you want to pronounce it. When she was young, she actually was, I don't want to say kidnapped, she was saved by the vampire king named Vincent, and he actually took her in and brought her to his castle where he raised her as his daughter, and there he was able to teach her how to defend herself, how to basically fend off from vampires. She's obviously human, and this goes on for years, and she kind of just lives in the castle, and they kind of, in the point of view, have this father and daughter relationship. And so that is the trajectory of that book, and through this she later like kind of pushes the boundaries of questioning like who she is, where she's from, why he took her, like what is so special about her. She decides to enter the Kajari, which is a contest that actually occurs every century, I believe, and she is the only human in this contest, this challenge contest. She enters the Kajari. She is like the only human, which is really difficult because how you win the Kajari is that you have to be the last one standing, and clearly she's the weakest one, considering that everyone else is a vampire, and the vampires, not all of them, but some of them have like powers, and by that I mean like they can control fire. Some people can control like mind magic, and she's a human, so she's basically at like a lost cause for everything. So through this, she enters the Kajari and she wins some challenges, and then she finally meets our MMC of the whole series, and his name is Rain, and he is just head over heels for her. He is so drawn to her, and he actually helps her. They form an alliance, and yeah, it just goes back and forth. So Rain actually is a turned vampire. He's not a born vampire. There are like 2 different vampire types. So obviously if you're born, you kind of have like that hierarchy of like, I was born into this, I've always been a vampire. But if you're turned, people kind of look at you differently, because it's like you're kind of just like a prey. You were once a prey and you kind of just survived. So they go into this, and then there's also other side characters. They go into this, and the reason why they're in the Kajari is because if you survive and win, you are granted a wish by their goddess, and her name is Nyaxia. And of course, there's only one person left standing, which is very difficult because they obviously love each other. They love each other, but it took a long time to get there. This was like such a long, slow burn. Like, I swear, you guys, the spice scenes weren't happening until the end. And that is completely fine because I love fantasy. But I was like, you guys can't even kiss yet? Like, what is going on? They went the whole book without kissing, I swear, until like the last couple chapters. I felt like I wouldn't have liked this book at all because when I heard vampires, I was like, really? I feel like vampires were like a decade ago, but surprisingly, I was so into this book. I was drawn into it. I was captivated by the storyline, and yeah, the challenges, I was under the impression, this was prior when I picked up the book, I thought that the challenges would kind of be like Hunger Games, but they weren't. They were like completely different, which I quite enjoyed because I feel like oftentimes in fantasy books, it almost feels really repetitive. Like, you can tell when a book is inspired by another fantasy book, you can see like the similarities. But this book, I really didn't feel that way with any of them. I liked this book also because I felt like there was like actually real stakes at hand, you know? Like, when you think of it, sometimes that point doesn't get across, so you're like, what are you fighting for? But in this instance, obviously, because you're reading from Oraya's perspective, Oraya, you cheer for her the most, and there were definitely consequences to be made at the end because, you guys, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but if you just listen to me when I say there can only be one last survivor who is the winner of the Kajari, and there's obviously two characters that we love so much, and I would say like the ending, it was like the best plot twist, and then like the biggest betrayal, which I don't know, I can like feel my heart beating right now. Oh gosh, I can't even say this without spoiling it, so I'm just gonna say you need to read it because it's almost like a found family versus like blood loyalty type of book. They are 100% giving enemies to lover. Like, well, it is enemies to lover. What am I saying? They like totally don't like each other, and then they are like madly in love with each other. The next book that I read was the second book of this, which was the Ashes in the Star-Cursed King. Yes, this was the sequel, and you guys know how I feel about sequels. I feel like I haven't read a sequel that has done it for me. Like ACOTAR, Mist and Fury, like that one was, ooh, that was my favorite book. There's a lot of betrayal and like rebuilding trust in this because from book one, something really big happens at the end that at the beginning of book two, there's a lot of setup and confusion because you're rooting for these characters, but they're obviously going through a lot in their own relationship while both fighting their own demons, like their own battles, in the sense of like Oraya, she wants to be with Rain, but there's just so much trust that she can't continue with that, which I totally understand. But she's also fighting with trying to find her own identity because there's no one else left to help her figure out those roots. Then you have Rain, who obviously loves Oraya so much he will do anything from her, but he is a king now and he's trying so hard to figure out how to be a king, find the people he trusts, and run a kingdom, obviously. And he's dealing with so many enemies, it's so hard to like put all your trust into one basket. So it's so much. There was so much emotional damage. I feel like the revelations that were happening. There was this one character in this book where I literally thought she was so crazy. I could not handle her. She made me so mad. I forgot her name, but basically it's Oraya's cousin. She's so crazy. She's only in the book for maybe like a chapter or two, maybe 3. She's so crazy, you guys. Like, I can't stand her. But the tension here is so thick. Rain is so devoted to Oraya. It's crazy how much he like he's not grumpy, but he is so in love with her. I almost wanted to smack her and be like, girl, give in already. Like, he literally will do anything from you. Get with the program. Hello. This book is also a slow burn because they're trying to rebuild the trust that they once had in book 1. Like, there's less romance scenes, but the spice is up there. So like quality over quantity, I should say. Oh my gosh. I also forgot to tell you guys, there's a quote in this book. Actually, it's from book 1, but because I'm talking about the whole series, there's a quote in this book that I highlighted it and I clipped. This was my first clipping of my entire Kindle books, which is crazy. And I actually clipped it at 11:52 p.m. when I read it because I loved this quote so much. And the quote is, "Death isn't frightening when weighted against an insignificant existence." That is crazy work right there. Like that, I literally highlighted it, and I keep coming back to this because it's just so good, and it makes me just realize that death doesn't mean shit to me if I'm living a boring life. I might as well live a meaningful life, and then death can be scary. I don't want to live a life where I have so many regrets. You want to live a life where you're so fulfilled, and I love that quote so much. Oh my god, like so good. The second book is a dual POV, so you hear from Rain and Oriah, which is great. I usually don't love those POVs because I'm just so tired of like listening to the same timeline, but honestly for this book it worked out perfectly. You kind of saw both sides of them and how they feel about each other without giving too much away. There was honestly a point though where I just was like, please talk to each other. Like, please, I just need you guys to like talk to each other, make up, bang it out, and like go on with your day and rule together. But that obviously didn't happen until like forever. Okay, you guys, I decided to make the book reviews for this previous month just super short and sweet. I loved all the books that I read this month, and I'm so excited to read next month. I actually don't know what I'm reading. Currently, I'm reading my first Abby Jimenez, I think that's how you say it, Abby Jimenez book, because she is from Minnesota, and if you guys don't know, I obviously live in Minneapolis, so this is right up at home. I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I'm like so excited, but I don't know. If you have any recommendations of what I should read, definitely leave them down below because I feel like I really want to diversify my genres. I do love to read mystery, thrillers, romance, obviously, fantasy, obviously, and yeah, I kind of want to dip my feet into other genres. I just don't know what to read or where to start. So as always, thank you guys for watching and listening to me just yap for however long this video is. I really appreciate you guys, and I love all of your support. Stay tuned for more videos. I don't know what the next videos are gonna be, but I just know that they're coming, so I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys hopefully in like a couple days.